by the student-organized composting operation at St. John's University. Here he is.
Okay, thank you all very much for having me today. My company, Compostwerks, has developed a very good working relationship with St. John's University in Queens, New York, and essentially we've helped them with their whole composting and sustainability initiative. And, really, it's more of a support mechanism for them. We also supply different types of machinery to support their initiatives, but at the end of the day, for me, it's really about turning liabilities into assets. And they were spending a great deal of money getting rid of materials that have become a very integral part of their land management there. So we started working with them in 2010, more in a planning and strategizing capacity. But by 2011, they had begun to construct a forced air static composting system, which I'll show you some pictures of it in a few minutes. But in 2011, every bit of food waste was being carted off-site, and also all the yard waste was being hauled off-site, and we're talking a lot. And at that point, only 22% of their all of their waste was being recycled. So, you know, we fast forward 2 years, and this is where we're at today with them. So at this point now, they are able to compost 50% of their food waste, which is a tremendous accomplishment. You might want to have another round of applause, because this food waste recovery program is actually, all the work is being done by the students, and it's all on a volunteer basis. So as of last year, the close of last year, and by the way, you can view these statistics on the EPA's website. I don't have the URL with me right now, but it's St. John's University, the Queens campus. But as of right now, they're at 30% reduction in all of their solid waste. So it's really an incredible story here. So we're already partway into 2014. They have a very, very aggressive goal to increase their reduction to 50%. So another 20% jump. And my understanding is that they are going to be trying to recover all of the food waste from the entire campus. Right now, they're capturing about 3,000 pounds per week of food waste that's going into their aerated static pile system. So the goal for this year is to somewhere be in the range of about 5,000 pounds per week. Like I said, how do they go about doing this? Most of this work is coming from the student body and their sustainability initiative. Are they operating equipment for mixing feedstocks? No, they're not. Obviously, there's some insurance issues they have to deal with there. But literally everything else is being done, the collection. And the amount of energy in these students, the level of commitment is just astounding. And I'm just really, really proud of the fact that we are helping to garner these values in going forward. And probably in 20 years, you're going to need a room 10 times the size to speak to everyone who's really interested in all of this. These barrels you see down here, these are 30-gallon barrels. And this is what they use for, pretty much for staging. But as they collect their food waste, it's being put into these pails until they're ready to make another batch of compost. This is their system. This is also an O2 aerated static pile system. It's actually was also built by the students. Obviously, that had some support from the facilities there. But they built this. They own this, and it's going to be there for a very long time. Actually, this is not made from wood, it's made from recycled plastic. So it'll be there for a very, very long time. In the back of this picture, you see a brick building. It's about 100, 125 feet away from the O2 system. Guess what that building is? It's residence. Okay? Someone taught me a long time ago, people smell with their eyes when it comes to composting. This is a neat operation. It doesn't smell. I'm not going to say there's absolutely no issue with vectors, but it's extremely rare that they have any issues in that regard. Even when they're mixing, the amount of odor is extremely low, and they haven't received any complaints from the students in this. Dormitory is 100, 150 feet away at the most, or from the neighbors. So, one thing I think that really gets overlooked in terms of making compost is great. We've made all this great compost, but what are we going to do with it? What's the utilization plan? Here we see some students are, they're screening the compost and making it more usable for a broader range of different things on the campus. The nice little screening plant they have there. They also made a tumbler. You can see this tumbler that's set over that blue machine is a compost top dressing machine. And pretty much you turn the motor on and it just shoots compost out on lawn areas. So they'll screen this compost and go spread it on the turf grass instead of putting fertilizers on. Just incredible. So students are doing all this. Just a couple of months ago, we actually led a two-day workshop. We did some soil analysis of some areas where there were some shrubs that were doing really poorly. And we were able to identify deficiencies in this area, that area. So the second day of the workshop, we took the compost that the students made and we added some amendments that the soil really needed to correct the problems. And the students went out and applied all this compost, and we'll see how well it works in the spring, and we'll do more soil testing, and we'll come back to them and say, okay, this is what we've accomplished. And I really think that when we're young, we learn a lot of things, and we say, why do we have to learn this? But I think in this case, they're really understanding why they need to learn it, and that's the big, that's where it all comes together. Some more statistics and accomplishments. I'm really, really proud to have helped them through this entire process. But in 2012, they received a certificate of achievement from the EPA's Food Recovery Challenge. That was a very, very, very big deal for them. ASHE, which is American Association of Sustainability and Higher Education, it's a pretty big group. It's a non-for-profit, and they help universities around the world with their sustainability programs, but they received 5 stars rating in their overall sustainability and a gold rating in their food waste recovery program. That was a big contributor to their 5-star rating. Another thing for me, which was a really big deal, in 2012, they were recognized as the Tree Campus USA, and I'm an arborist. I've been an arborist for almost 30 years. So really, really proud of them that they were able to accomplish this, in part because of the composting that they're doing, because they're using all this compost in their horticulture. They're spreading it around trees. It's really quite amazing. Arbor Day of last year, 2013, the students planted 83 trees in about 35 minutes. Yes, we did a lot of preparation work the day before. It was a long day. But, this is a whole circle here. The students planted these trees using the compost that they made. And just a remarkable accomplishment. It's a legacy. It's about making a legacy, and they're going to bring their kids back there. I mean, they had planted an arboretum. They had an architect come in, landscape architect come in, drop the plans. We executed the plan. It looks beautiful. And by the way, they only lost one tree. It was a very, the spring was very dry, and this tree was really in bad shape when it went in. So I know this is a bit of a goofy picture, a student on top of compost pile, but I think it really sums it up, and the energy that these students have is just, it really makes it worth it for me personally to work with them at that level. I understand I'll be sitting on the panel if there's any questions, and my contact information is here if anyone would like to speak to me. Thank you very much.